Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of On the Mic with Mike. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me tonight is a newcomer on the scene. You can check her out doing her modeling thing, being the entertainer and content creator that she is, Miss Alexis Vida. How are you, Alexis?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on tonight, Mike.
Well, you're very
Yeah, I'm doing great.
same. You're very welcome. First and foremost, for those who have not checked out Alexis on the social media front, beautiful photos showcasing some amazing imagery, cute pajamas, the whole nine. I gotta say, the photos that you've been putting out there not only incredible, but god dang it, man, you've been doing your thing.
Really? Well, thanks. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of the photos I take are candid. I started like kind of like traditionally modeling and I before like getting into like more like adult kind of stuff. And so I worked with this one photographer that like basically told me like treat every like photo shoot like it's a video and just take pictures of everything. And so, like, sometimes like, most of those pictures are ones that I never, like, planned, like, doing or, like, had, like, a pose or anything picked out for him. It was just in the moment, like, it happened to have gotten caught on camera, and it looked good. So, I'd like to, like, take credit for it, but a lot of it was, like, kinda luck in how they turned out.
But I gotta say, the way I view it is, and I say this with the utmost sincerity and love and respect towards you and the many amazing women and content creators that we have today in this forum. I look at it like this, man. I think if you look at the art form, you look at the craft and how we view the said image, I think whether it be class, whether it be towards the adult modeling side of things, you have to look at it as an art form. And I think you're applying your craft, and so many others are applying their craft in this thing that we call life in such amazing fashion. I think it's wonderful to see just the imagery from the internal and external standpoint. So I think it all kind of comes into fruition. It comes into place, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And, I mean, like you said, like, it really is, like, a craft and a process, and I know for me, like, collaboration is the biggest part of that, so it's it's definitely doable by yourself, but I gotta give credit, like, it's not just me, like, I have a great crew of, like, people around me that kinda, like, help me out with a lot of stuff, and, like, I'm still pretty new in the industry and everything, but, I've been able to network and, like, meet some people that have just been really helpful in everything as I'm starting out, so, like, again, like, I can't take the credit, like, I have a lot of people, like, helping me out that are kinda giving me tips and, like, things like that to kinda, like, basically make that craft, and, like, that's kind of the way I go about doing it is I don't like to make the decision by myself necessarily, it's nice to have, like, that feedback and input from other people.
I think teamwork makes the dream work, as they say. And I think as we're going to get into those many people, because Madonna Me, this woman, like we mentioned on social media, with so many great collaborations that we've seen, I think thus far for where you are, and someone who is so new, I got to say, whether you're doing modeling stuff from traditional to the adult side of things, I think it is a great transition because not only does it showcase the sensuality, and we mentioned craft earlier, but I think what's great about it too is as well, we've seen it in many music videos, we've seen it in so many things, the sensuality, the real deal sex appeal, if you will, that goes with everything that we do in life. Sexy is defined in so many different ways, internally, externally, your overall foundation, your being showcases sensuality. And I think you truly have paved that off, not only with your images, but I think your overall foundation, man. You got a vibrancy, you got the whole love, you got the respect about you. I think it does show and shine through within your foundation.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. What do you mean by like the vibe I have? Like now I'm just like curious. Like
Sure.
what are
Okay.
you picking up on?
So what I love about it too as well, and I say this with a lot of great guests here, because with what I've done in podcasting, you interview a lot of people of different facets of life, and I think a nice smile can just really set the tone for an image, just your overall vibe. And what I mean by that is you could look at something already in a photo or what they're doing, just the fun and everything that goes into it, professionalism, etiquette, sexiness can be defined in so many different ways. So I think of we think of externally as far as like looks and what have you, and looks is great, but I think if you could just go into that vibe as far as professionalism, key, vibrancy, fun, living in that moment, moments and memories created and moments and memories yet to be created. I think just the overall basis and general consensus of life, and you could see where the life has really gone with you for your trajectory thus far within your career. I think that's really a lot of people can gravitate towards.
I get that. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it kind of like basically like the way I'm picking up like everything that you're saying and I guess like kind of a way that like I like to look and go about things is, you know, the any type of like model or like content creation or something as a persona, and like that persona that I'm portraying is not very far off from who I actually am in real life. And like I think that makes things feel like, whether it's like a still picture or a video or something, like having that little extra bit of like authenticity, like you were saying, and like realness kind of makes it that much more easier to like relate to when someone else is viewing either that photo or video or whatever it may be. Like if you can tell like, oh, like this is like more like a real person than like something set up, I think like that goes a lot further than you know being fake about it. Like, I don't know, I guess that's my way of saying it, is like the way that I try to portray myself isn't very different from like how I kind of carry myself in real life.
No, I think you said that beautifully and eloquently, Miss Vida. I look at it like this: authenticity, genuinity goes a long way. And I mean, that shows. I mean, I've seen some of your photos and some of the work. Let's talk about Chanel Jordan, who's a beautiful human being. So many great things that she's done within the adult entertainment industry. I know you just came off a scene with Veronica May and Radius Dark. Like, the opportunities are there. So let's start off first with talking about Veronica May, because Veronica May's been out there in the scene doing her thing, really has great synergy with everybody that she works with. And talk about getting a chance to do that scene now, because that's going to be awesome for you, because I cannot wait to see it, and I know a lot of us are.
Well, I mean, I got to give a shout out to Veronica. Like, it was really cool to kind of lead off that scene and, definitely like start more like my professional career in the adult entertainment world with Veronica. Like I've done like a few scenes before, but like that's gonna be, probably my first like big like hardcore scene that's gonna be out there. And it's kind of cool that I get to do that scene with like my partner in real life. So like that added like a whole nother level to it. And speaking of that, because she is my girlfriend and like partner outside of the industry and everything too, like having someone like that in your court for everything is pretty awesome. So it's definitely been helpful, like having her. And like I think you described her perfectly. Like it's so easy for her to connect with like anyone else. It's so easy to like kind of see her personality and like just naturally who she is on camera and off camera, that having someone like that kind of by your side and going through this stuff, um as early as I am in this industry, it's still really cool because like it's being able to like bounce ideas off of her and like realistically like thinking through stuff like, hey, I'm thinking about this, does this work? And like having that person to be able to like talk through it and like knowing that you can like trust them through it all.
I think what I love about it too, as well, is first of all, God bless and much love and happiness to you both. I think that's wonderful. Again, synergy, the couples, and what I love about it too, as well, is I think with anything in life, whether it be in relationships, friendships, the two, accommodation and comfortability, it really goes a long way within your career, within life, and how you really portray who you are as what we see on the screen. And I think you look at Veronica's work and you look at you now on the come up, dare I say. I think it's great to see not only that, but I think also within character development, your overall how you present yourself on screen and what have you. It's you with the volume turned up, man. And I got to say, you are certainly pumping up the volume, much as is Miss Veronica May. And we mentioned Chanel Jordan there. She pumps up the volume. And I got to say, I'm really enjoying not only just how the evolution, the adaptation of the adult entertainment industry is from where we are back in the day to where we had and where we can view adult entertainment to where we are now with so much streaming and what have you. There's many vids, there's OnlyFans, there's so many different things out there. I think we have an accoutrement and a wide array of people in said adult entertainment industry. And I love it. And I cannot wait to see that scene. I can't wait to see where your trajectory takes you, man.
Thanks. I appreciate that. And I mean, yeah, like you said, like one of the first scenes I filmed, which will be releasing soon, is with Chanel. And she is also an amazing person. Like, bound, like, I got really fortunate. Like, you mentioned that I'm new, I'm brand new. I don't know if I'm on the come up yet. Like, I think you actually have to have stuff out to be on the come up. And so maybe like give it like a month or two and then we can say that. But I mean, maybe a month. I don't know when this podcast is airing, so like maybe a month or two or whatever. But like I got really, really lucky that some of my first interactions were with people like Veronica and with with Chanel and with Alexa. And, honestly, like that's all due to like again another connection that I have in the industry, and that's my best friend Capri Sun. Like we'd known each other for a while, and she before Veronica, because Capri's my one of my best friends. She was kind of the one that like talked to me about like this industry and like how some of the things go and like how to network and meet people. And through her, is how I kind of met all these other creators that I've talked to and have, already had the opportunity to kind of connect with and either work with or plan a time to work in the near future. So, like I can't shy away from that. Like I do hope that like I have the trajectory and stuff that you're saying to take it that way. But even if that happens and I do get on the come up and everything, it really does circle back to like these wonderful people that I got to like actually start with like networking, because they're the ones that kind of introduced me to anything that happens from here on out.
First off, shout out to Capri Sun. Her work as well is very exceptional. And I mean, where we are, and I mean to go on what you're saying as well, and having the right people about you and your surroundings, I think that only not only is key with how you market yourself, and especially in today's age with social media and how everything goes from that particular front, and how we're always constantly this and marketing and branding and really networking, like you mentioned. I think the best part
Mhm.
about it too, as well, is I mean, where we are in today's day and age from modeling and the adult entertainment industry and everything as a whole, one thing that I admire, especially like a woman like yourself and so many people that we see out there, it's the confidence. I mean, going from modeling and doing traditional and then you go to the adult side of things or what have you, some people can model. I think the confidence and the admiration and respect and the discipline that I have, because it takes a lot of courage to do what we do, whether it be entertainment, podcasting, what have you. You really have the confidence, you have the courage, and you also have the adaptation, the overall adaptability to really go into it, and you never stop learning. And I think that's also what's very exciting about what people like yourself do and what we all do. So I mean, I think it's wonderful just to see that not only the surroundings, like I mentioned, but you never stop learning, and the grind is never going to stop, and the journey is worth taking.
Well, like you kind of touched on it. Like at the end of the day, all of this is art, whether it's modeling, whether it's, you know, adult entertainment in the form of pictures, video, music, references in like movies or pop culture, whatever it may be. Like it's all art in some way. And, you know, I can comfortably say like, even though I'm still new in like some parts, like there's some aspects of it that I've been, doing for a while just in like a different area. Like the pictures, whether they're more adult themed or intimate, is still very similar to like traditional modeling and stuff. And I can think back to like the first shoot I did as a model, like helping a photographer that needed like trade for print photos and was trying to build their portfolio. So like I did a shoot, unpaid with them. And I look back at some of those pictures and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was not good at this. Like I still don't really think I'm that great. I'm that great now, but like it's something that like takes time to like get there, like any art form. And I think once you're comfortable knowing that like every single thing you do isn't going to be a hit, or it isn't going to be like the best thing that you've come out with right then and there, at least for me, that kind of helps me be a little more confident, and it kind of takes the pressure off of like everything has to be good. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm doing this, it's a piece of art, not everybody's going to like it, but if more people like it, then great, that's awesome for me.
Oh, concurred. And I mean, from imagery, from everything, like I can tell you right now, you go to your Alexis Vida's page over here. This one's rocking the cute pajamas. She could be wearing the dominatrix type of vibes to it. There's something for everyone. I think with what you encompass with your imagery and everything that you got in here, man, I'm talking about the cortisone, aka the heart. I think from everything you can put on, you can rock some pajamas, you can rock the dominatrix type of vibes. I think there's something for everyone. And what I love about it too, as well, is especially in today's day and age, you have to have variety with everything. You may not be somebody's cup of tea, but you are definitely someone's cup of tea. You just got to find the right, variable. You have to have the right foundation, like we mentioned earlier. But I mean, it's the right vibes. If the vibe is there, if everything is there, you're golden, man. And I think thus far we touched upon the golden side of things. I think everybody's out there to do it. And I love today's everybody's ambition, everybody's humbleness, everybody's hard work. It's what it is, man. And I love it. And I really do love it. I love what you're doing right now. And I think a lot of people can attest to this, man. Who doesn't love a good pajama photo? Who doesn't love a dominatrix photo? There's something for everyone, man. I could show my sexiness. I could show my cuteness. I could show this. I could show that. But it really does have the gravitational pull. And if you can gravitate and you can make them participate, it's wonderful.
Well, it makes it more fun too. I mean, I've never really been someone that like wants to be pigeonholed as like doing like one specific thing or whatever. And so that's kind of like a mindset that I've had like before like when I was even like planning of getting into this industry was, I want to be able to have variety and to be versatile within like certain things. Like I'm not a verse person. I'm definitely I'm definitely a bottom, which is really funny because me and Veronica get approached a lot, and there's a lot of times where they just assume that I'm the top for some reason, and like we get a good laugh out of it because I'm not a top by any means. But in terms of like other things, like if you if you can find a way to have more variety, it's gonna make it more fun for you, and it's gonna keep things, at least for me, it's gonna keep things like more exciting and more fresh because it's not like, okay, I'm gonna put on like this same outfit that is like everything else I've done and take like the same pictures and photos and stuff like that. So I don't know, like I guess that's just something from the beginning that I've wanted to focus on. But you're right, like it takes that variety. It takes that like, having that little bit of versatility in whatever it is that you're doing.
Well, it's also you're paying attention to what I like to call these subtleties, the intricacies, and nuances that go into everything. I mean, when you look at an adult film or you look at modeling, you could always notice the subtleties, intricacies, and nuances, the storytelling of a photo, the storytelling of a scene. I think that is, and also like we talk about the acting side of things and really how you want to portray and amp up that character to the thousandth decimal, if you will. You know what I'm saying? If it's swag, it's everything. It's personality, it's appearance. But I think the subtleties, intricacies, and nuances really go a long way, and how we really do everything in life, how we tell our stories, how we apply our craft. I think those are very important. I could see you have it. I could see a lot of people have it. And I honestly am very happy to see that in today's society, because I think a lot of people have to pay attention to detail, no matter how minute and minuscule it is, whether it be attention to detail, what have you. You really need to do that. And I think it goes a long way within content creation and just how you overall carry yourself.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, even if it's like just the little smallest bit of detail, it goes a long way.
And I gotta say, with you thus far, man, I gotta say, with such a upstart, with such a, like we mentioned, come up, but also you're on your way with such a short period of time. I cannot wait to see not only you do your thing, and wish you nothing but the best and continued success, because I know you will get there. I always love asking this question within the podcast, because we never stop learning, we never stopped adapting, we
Mhm.
never stop growing. I gotta ask you thus far, what advice would you give to people that want to get into modeling, who want to do maybe transition to the adult modeling? What advice would you give based on what you've learned thus far?
Um, I mean, gosh, like I feel like we've been saying it like the whole time we've been talking, and that's don't be afraid to talk to people and to reach out and to network. And, like it's okay to like not know everything that you're doing. Cause I'll be the first to admit, like you can ask Veronica Capri, any of the people we've talked about, I'll be the first to say, like, I have no idea how to do this or what I'm doing. And like for me, in terms of like some of the behind the scenes stuff, like I am god awful at editing videos and like, really like making sure that things look as polished as possible. Like in the moment, I can do like the poses, I can think about like makeup and like how to like set like a specific stage or idea. But like I've had nights where like I've had to like sit and like basically like watch Veronica go like step by step through like Adobe or like a video editing program to like see how it freaking works. Or like networking. I remember like when I first started meeting people, it was like one of those like freaking out things with like talking with Capri and being like, I need to ask this person this thing and I don't really know how to phrase this question. How do I do that? And like it's a hard thing for I think a lot of people to do. It used to be a hard thing for me of like asking for help. But ultimately, like if my career in this industry, does take off like you're predicting it to go, like Veronica and others are predicting it to go, um, it's not going to be because of like anything that I'm doing. It's going to be because of that like foundation of like networking and like people I trusted to kind of help me out when I didn't really know what I was doing with things like X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying?
First of all, I smile when this one talk about Adobe over here and the editing skills because I love that you bring this up because I think first and foremost also what I love about adult entertainment is a lot of people think and there's always that negative connotation, oh, it's just, it's adult entertainment. You just sit there, boom, the magic happens. No, there's lighting, that everything that goes into it from editing, and I can respect how the content is created, number one, but also number two, what goes into the scene from the elegance to lighting and everything that is portrayed. The portrayal is absolutely wonderful to see because I think it's great how that finished product comes out. But also number two, I was that same
Mhm.
person as well. Like I'm a cat with a learning disability and ADD, and you're always kind of like afraid to ask questions because it's just like, how are we going to be perceived? But I think the beautiful thing about life is always asking questions. And I think for us who may have struggled with it, or some still do, I think it's wonderful that you take that ambition and you take that strive to really just learn for something, whether you may not be good at editing or whatever. I think you have the intuitiveness to really go into that. And I can really respect that.
Yeah, I mean, um, it it took a while to get there. Like, I mean, I basically didn't get there until I was an adult, but failure is like one of the best teachers. And so that's kind of just been a mentality I've had, and like getting into something new like this, you know, being being confident and okay with like not knowing what you're doing or what's going on, but like thankfully having a resource or a person that can help you with that and help you learn and figure it out, makes it that much easier. So I guess like that's kind of why like my biggest advice isn't like necessarily something that you're going to do by yourself, but it's put yourself out there, meet people, find a circle of people that you can trust that are going to give you that feedback. And maybe sometimes it's feedback that is a hard pill to swallow. Like you think you do something and you edit a video or you do like a shoot of photos and you send it to someone, and it's always the worst thing to hear when like one of your friends is like, do you want my honest opinion about this, or do you want me to talk you up? And once you get used to like that actual like constructive feedback, then it's a lot easier to like learn that stuff and adapt. And I'm still in that process. I'm still like learning a lot of things, but it's been a lot more comfortable like being okay knowing that like I don't know everything, or like I'm gonna struggle with some stuff. And it's a lot easier having those people in your court to kind of help you through that.
That goes with everything. And first of all, like once again, beautifully and eloquently said. I mean, that goes with anything from podcasting or everything. And I could say this right now, speaking as from a personal experience, like, and I'll say this bluntly from constructive criticism. Sometimes you got to be told that what you're doing is the drizzling shits. Because I can even admit in my earliest things, I wasn't as polished as I was. And I was kind of the drizzling shits. And sometimes we need to hear that. It makes us
Yeah.
better. It makes us better as people, and it helps us to polish and hone our craft and apply it. So I mean, I respect that. I think bluntness, honesty can be the best policy, but I think it's how you take it and how you adapt to it and strive. And then I
Mhm.
think, like I said, I'm really excited to see where you go, and I could say thus far you're doing the correct things. And I think at the things happen along the way. You know what I'm saying, good and bad, but it's how we obtain and how we get through it. And I think you're going to be just fine. And I think we're all going to do our thing, man. It's a beautiful time in 2024 to see entertainment thrive, to see people thrive, and to see the one and only Alexis Vida thrive. And now, Miss Vida, before we close this out, where can we follow you on social media? Because my
Thanks.
God, you're very welcome. Because my God, man, the Twitter front, you're doing it up. Where can we follow you on Twitter?
So on Twitter, it's going to be at Alexis underscore Vita1. And I'm sure Mike can put like a link in the bio or something like that for it. And then once they're almost up and running, just like uploading like the final things and everything. I think today's it's the end of June right now. So if depending on when this video comes out, it may already be up and running. But my OnlyFans is going to be the same handle as my Twitter, and probably within the next week, I'm going to have a link to that on there from my Twitter. And then my ManyVids is going to be the same thing, Alexis without the underscore. So Alexis Vita one. and then I'll have that link on Twitter as well. But yeah, so again, Twitter is going to be Alexis_Vida1.
She's like Nelly in Training Day. She's number 1. 2 is not a winner. 3 nobody remembers. Alexis Vida
Oh
1.
my gosh.
Check her out on all social media fronts, whether it be Twitter, many vids, OnlyFans. You got a lot of great content coming up in the pipeline. And if you want to check out yours truly, StephenMikeShow.com, LFCfights.com, and Mike Larkin92 on the YouTube front. Hit the subscribe button, like, subscribe, do what you do, and check out many great interviews, including this face right here, featuring her internal and external beauty and her wisdom thus far in the adult entertainment and modeling front. Bay Hey B. And as I always say to end each and every one of these shows, beauty, strength, and dominance, the 3 key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Alexis Vida, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, thanks, Mike.
Come talk to me. I love the way you're on to me. Looking at you, looking like you're wondering if we're here for the same reason. And now that you wanna lay in the sun, getting love drunk, sticking like honey. Yeah, I bet you're here for some fun with that someone, feeling that something. If you're looking for a good time, honey, I'm right here. If you're looking for the good life, good vibes, honey, I'm right here. And I'm waiting for you. And I love you in your summer skin. Looking at you, looking like you're into it. 'Cause we're here for the same reason. Yeah, I just wanna lay in the sun, getting love drunk, sticking like honey. Like honey. Yeah, 'cause I'm just here for some fun with that someone, feeling that something. There's something. If you're looking for a good time,